Welcome to Two Weirdos Mental Ward.
I'm Matt Boyd.
I just got finished watching a commercial. Guy sitting on the couch with his kid. The kid's asleep. On the screen is Dog My Stuffins. So Dad says, he's thinking, is this kid asleep enough for me to change it back to sports? Here's the thing. Commercials are sexist. They're sexist. I hate sports. I don't care about sports at all. I mean, if baseball's playing, I can watch that. But, I mean, if I'm at home and someone told me the World Series or the Super Bowl or other sports stuff, things, tournaments were on, I can't tell you when it comes on. I'm not entirely, I think baseball season is in the spring and football season is in the fall. I do know there's a basketball game on or a football game on because it went over in time, and now the shows that I actually do watch aren't on because it ran over. Which, football, okay? If I'm watching Family Guy is 20 some odd minutes and then like 10 minutes of commercials. Family Guy has never gone into overtime, ran over into another show because it's timed to end at a certain point, and it does. But then you have the let's say the football game. Before the football game starts, here's some retired sports guys to chat about it for 30 minutes to an hour. Then the game starts, and then it might go over. And then after the game, here's some more retired sports guys to chat about what just happened. If you go over, okay, you shouldn't be allowed to have 30 minutes of after the game chat with the four retired guys. Okay? That cut some of the game out. Edit it. You know, you watch an award show, the Oscars, someone gets a little chatty at the mic, you know, they play the music to get them off the stage so that program will not go over. I will say, though, that the Oscars does go over in overtime. But at least the Oscars, you know, isn't going to be in the afternoon. I know that when the Oscars is on, no other show that I'm watching is going to be on there. It's done. Oscars all night. So, you know, what you could do is just, you know, my shows, reruns that night. Don't try to make them new if there is a football game on, because I'm going to have to, I mean, thanks to recording, you know, I am not completely screwed. I just have to know to record the news and then what's after the news and then so on and so forth. That way I can watch all my shows because something went overtime. It's really annoying. Speaking of shows, there's a few I'd like to see brought back since we're doing a lot of remakes, you know? Since like Overboard has been remade and it's in the theater, we did it. We do it all the time, you know? And I'm not complaining about that. I can't really complain about remakes because, you know, now is not the only time we did remakes. The Maltese Falcon, that movie with Humphrey Bogart, you know, and Peter Lorre. Louis, I like you to wear my glass ring. This is the start of a beautiful friendship. Whether you're getting on that plane, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday for the rest of your life. Yeah, I know that I messed up that line. I know it is. You have to get in that plane, or else you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday for the rest of your life. You're really gonna bum me out when we're married. I never got on that plane. Marrying that other guy. Well, I told you to get on that plane. Anyway, Maltese Falcon remake. Came out in the 30s, and they remade it in the 40s. And it was better, actually. So, you know, remakes have been around since movies. They remade Nosferatu. Perfectly good silent film. But no offense, not a lot of people like to watch silent films. It was remade in the 70s. Very artistic. So I would like to see like the Flintstones brought back and the Jetsons and a lot of the 60s cartoons. I especially would like the Flintstones brought back on the account that every time I go to a grocery store, I see the Fruity Pebbles are out there. I see the Fruity Pebbles are out there, and I don't know if any little kids know who Fred Flintstone is. You know, you don't really see that many commercials for Tony the Tiger. They're great. But yeah, I mean, you don't see a lot of commercials for cereal. Also, you know, Cracker Jacks. Why am I getting a sticker, Cracker Jacks? You used to put like a whole toy in there, like a good one, like a toy airplane or something. I heard a story about Jack Nicholson sitting next to somebody, and they were eating Cracker Jacks, and he goes, "In my day, you got a whistle or a little toy airplane. Now all they give you is a sticker," which is true. Yeah. I mean, you can get better toys in cereal boxes nowadays. Little video games. The movie Rampage come out based on the arcade game. I found like the miniature arcade game of Rampage, and when I pushed the button, I was expecting not much. But there was a tiny little arcade machine with a tiny little 16-bit Rampage game. And it looked like it did, you know, when you went to the arcade. It was cool. It was really, really cool. I still want it. So, you know, I don't know whether or not that, like, I find it hard for me to buy stuff for myself, because, you know, it's a mixture between being cheap, being poor, and also I think if I had more money, I would I would, you know, buy more collectibles. But since I don't make a lot of money, I find it harder for me to buy something like the $20 Rampage game, no matter how much I love it. I would also like the original and the the new ones where they look more realistic, the Ghostbusters figures. I'd like to have those. Because I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters. I'd like to have more just collectibles. Star Trek, Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty. Oh God. There's a lot. Fantasy figures from like Magic the Gathering. Science fiction stuff. On the plus side, I am artistic and I can make a lot of things, but I can't afford sideshow collectibles. And trust me, I wish I could. Just wow. Actually, I had a friend from college who worked for them and did stitching and the clothes for the figures. And so yeah, it'd be sweet to get those. More Funko Pop things. I like to get those. I have the Fourth Doctor. I'd like to get more Doctor Who stuff. Get all the sci-fi things, Star Trek, Star Wars, Alien franchise, Back to the Future. Which is funny that like Back to the Future is not like hard sci-fi, but it is science fiction. Less so. Ghostbusters is science fiction, but not that. It's not a hard sci-fi. It's not like my brother doesn't like Alien franchise because he says it's depressing. And granted, by episode 3 is like just slapping everyone in the face, you know? Because you watch Alien, and space truckers stop by a planet. One guy does the stupid thing that like a lot of people do at some point, and he gets down in the egg thing, sticks his face directly into the egg, face hugger, goes onto his face, goes in coma, spoilers, pops out his chest, and then they gotta take care of that. Ripley survives, then Aliens comes around, you know, and then James Cameron directs it. James Cameron directed most people's favorite Alien movie. Because it's action, mostly. It's action sci-fi this time. And then you find out, if you get the extended edition, that Ripley had a daughter. And then I like kind of think of it as like, this is the time you find out Lieutenant Ripley is not the best mom in the world. I mean, I'm sure she's, you know, not the worst mom in the world, but like, get a desk job, you know? If I'm Lieutenant Ripley, I have a kid, I'm not gonna go into space. She goes into space real far. She has to go, they have to get into hyper sleep in that pod. Then they wake up out of the pod, you know, and then, you know, crazy ride. But she finds out in the second one that her daughter has died of old age, and she was coming back for her like 5th or so, like her childhood birthday party. She was coming back for that, bringing her a toy. So then she finds Newt, becomes a surrogate mother for Newt, falls in love with Hicks, and you think, you know, after the end of Aliens, yay, happy family again, you know? Then 3 rolls around, 5 minutes in, you find out Hicks is dead, Newt is dead, there's an alien side of Ripley, and she's in that prison with the airplane joke guy from American Werewolf in London. So, you know, not everyone is gonna make, the greatest sequel. But, I guess everyone jumps the shark at some point. So, Aliens 3, not the best one. Although I did like Alien Resurrection. It was really good visually. Although Alien Resurrection is the one that creeped me out the most, because that alien with like the human skull face, like very visible human skull face. Like the first one originally, it's see-through, and it does have a human skull type face because it comes out of a person. Third one, again, comes out of a dog. So then they have that running around. And the only thing that alien that I like coming out of a dog is the one from John Carpenter's The Thing. That's also a remake. John Carpenter's The Thing was a remake of The Thing from Another World. Same premise. People in Alaska digging up a spaceship, and then an alien entity comes out of it. Which just goes to show you, if something comes from space, don't go poking in it. The Blob, meteorite, falls from the sky. Couple of cops come up, investigating, because their job. And then one pokes it, something comes out, and then kills a town by swallowing people. And if you see the original one with Steve McQueen, not bad. But if you see the 80s one with someone else, I don't really remember who is in the 80s one. But what I do remember about the 80s one is it scared the crap out of me when it swallows that dude, and then he tries to get out of it, and just the look of him freaked me out when I was little. Of course, I was easily scared when I was little. And then my mom held me up. She said, "Matt, it's all make believe." And she doesn't like to watch horror movies, but I do. Although I do have standbys that like The Shining. I like The Exorcist. I like the original Halloween. I've noticed something about horror movies. I really like the neighborhoods that the horror movie takes place in, like in Halloween. It looks like a real nice neighborhood. And in The Exorcist, I freaking love that neighborhood. It's Maine, it's in the fall. Sometimes I like to stop the movie just like after the first bit of the horror movie, because it's just such a nice name. It's like Poltergeist, right? Poltergeist comes out as if it's a nice family movie. Then all hell breaks loose at the end, which is a really good Misfits song. And this is where I am going to end this, because the battery's about to die. Alright, thank you, and this has been Two Weirdos Metal Award, brought to you by Carnation Milk. Carnation, from contented cows.